The outrage surrounding the state's Religious Freedom Restoration Act has quieted since it was amended earlier this year. But for many LGBT Hoosiers and their allies, the debate is ongoing. As Alexander McCall reports, one small Indiana town hopes its annual Pride Festival will bring the importance of LGBT civil rights to lawmakers and residents' attention.
It's crunch time for the organizers of the Spencer Pride Festival.
He's our only volunteer who's not in high school that's graduating.
Secretary Judy Epp is working through the final details before an expected 1,300 people, along with dozens of vendors, fill Spencer's Courthouse Square for the 9th annual festival. The gathering began in a nearby park in 2007. About 50 people came that year. Now, Epp says the one-day gathering has grown into the largest Pride celebration in a small town in Indiana.
We haven't heard of any rural Pride Festival that is as big as ours in as small a town as ours.
We stand here today to protect our freedom to live our faith without compromise.
Passage of the Religious Freedom Restoration Act, also known as RFRA, earlier this year made Indiana the target of a national firestorm, and it ignited a statewide discussion about protections for LGBT people. Epp says she thinks that controversy will draw members of the LGBT community and their allies to this year's festival.
I think our supporters will be out in huge numbers. Because our festival is a great place to be, but even if they weren't going to come, I think they would come just to show that we can't let things like RFRA stand.
That showing is something Freedom Indiana campaign manager Katie Blair says can make a real difference. She says that type of gathering, particularly in smaller towns, sends a message to state lawmakers.
I think it's really very important because it shows legislators that LGBT people don't exist, only in metropolitan areas, only in the donut counties around Indianapolis. They exist all across, Indiana, and they're their constituents and their neighbors, and this really showcases that.
On top of its numerous vendors, the festival has the support of the Owen County Chamber of Commerce, a partnership it only developed in recent years. Chamber of Commerce Executive Director Gwen Tucker says the festival's unique and family-friendly atmosphere can help combat the stereotype that small towns are unwelcoming or unaccepting of LGBT people.
It allows us to show the world, show the state, show the community that we are very open and welcoming here in Owen County, and we embrace diversity.
In addition to the backing of the Chamber of Commerce, festival organizers received a letter of support from House and Senate minority leaders asking for their help in adding protections for LGBT Hoosiers to the state constitution. That battle will likely heat up during next year's legislative session as some Democrats seek RFRA's repeal. Back in the tiny town of Spencer, Epp says the festival sends more immediate messages to the people who live there.
The first year we were on the courthouse lawn was back in 2008. A young boy rode his bicycle to our festival and told one of the organizers, "I can't be here, but I'm so glad that you are." And he rode off. And now he comes to the festival every year. So it's the impact we make on people we don't even know.
And she says the deliberate choices of LGBT community members to make themselves visible does more than send a signal to those in the State House. She says it can change the perceptions of others.
Maybe there's a parent out there in the rural community that doesn't want to show their face because they don't want their neighbors to know that they have a gay child. But they see us doing what we're doing, and it makes it more acceptable to that person's neighbors that they have a gay child.
Spencer Pride is a one-day festival that begins Saturday morning.